Welcome to the Gay Catholic Hour, a program of news, entertainment, healing, and about Dignity, New York, an organization serving marginalized Catholics since 1972.
The Women of Dignity want you to feel right at home, no matter what your sexual orientation, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or straight. We all God's children.
Gay Catholic Hour, Dignity, New York. I'm Chris Cappiello.
And I'm Ken Carter. Will be your host for tonight's program. You were looking at some footage from the 1998 Gay Pride Parade down Fifth Avenue.
And June is Gay Pride Month,
Yes, it
so we'll
is.
throughout the show tonight about upcoming events of interest to GLBT people of faith and their friends and their family and lots of people.
Whoever else. So if you want to grab a pencil and someone write on.
But first, we want to take a look at some video from the first Gay and Lesbian Memorial Day, hosted on May 6th by Congregation Beth Simchat Torah, the Church of the Holy Apostles, and the Spiritual Rainbow, an interdenominational group of GLBT people of faith, dignity, proud and active member.
So let's go to the videotape and get those pencils ready.
I am indeed delighted to be a co-sponsor and participant in this first annual Memorial Day for the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community. It's real to be able to work with the Congregation of Torah, the International Association of Lesbian and Gay Children Holocaust Survivors, and the Church of the Holy Apostles, as well as so many dedicated co-sponsors. I especially like to thank Rick and Lan, who has worked so very hard to put this event along with so many others of you, and who reached out to me to invite me to participate. I'm very much. We joined together because we recognize violence against the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender communities is a serious problem. We join together today because we know that it is important that we remember the history behind those attacks and ensure that we never allow events like the Holocaust to ever happen again. The systemic persecution against gay men and lesbians under the Nazi regime and the destruction of the renowned Institute of Sexual Sciences led by Dr. Hannes Hirschfeld in 1933 set up the movement for sexual equality decades. Only with organizing the Manichaean organization, the Daughters of Elias, and the subsequent rebellion, the 30th anniversary of which we celebrate this year, did the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender find a chance to reassert itself and achieve equality.
Remember, those past generations of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people who lost their lives due to bigotry, hatred, and ignorance. May the memories of those whom we lovingly recall tonight inspire us to be ourselves and lead lives worth remembering. Our thoughts to those who were murdered, those martyrs are people whose graves are unmarked and whose names are unknown. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death.
We promise tonight in the words of Ruth, even death shall not part us from them. Their names are established over our inheritance from them. The names of the dead shall not be cut off from us. In every general have murdered God's children because they were deemed to be different. Throughout history, we have suffered in fear and silence as gay to change the future by remembering and these deaths with proper respect.
So, Chris, since we've last been gone, you
We have a
can see
guest.
what I've been up to. Somebody wants their mommy tonight, so we're going to try and do this with Kid and Toe.
All right.
What have you been up to?
Nothing, but in mid-May, I did go to Buffalo to represent Dignity New York at a meeting of the Northeast region of the USA.
Wow.
As many of our viewers know, Dignity is a national organization with chapters in most major cities, and this was a meeting of representatives from the Northeast chapters. Dignity also has every 2 years a national convention, as you know.
Wow.
This will be in Denver, Colorado,
Wow.
in August.
Fancy.
I'm going to that, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Many great speakers, Bill Duddy, former president of Dignity, will be speaking,
right.
as well as David Mixner, the political activist and former friend, Bill Clinton. So if you're a member of Dignity, you probably have received your package on the convention already, but if not, access our website at www.dignityusa.org or call the 800 number on the screen.
Right, and as we mentioned before, there are lots of local events going on that I'm sure our viewers will be interested in.
So I hope you have some lead in that pencil, because here goes.
Well, on this Saturday, June 12th, Congregation Beth Simchat Torah, New York's Gay Lesbian Center will be hosting a Pride Day. It's at Church of the Holy Apostle, 9th Avenue and 28th Street. Everyone is welcome. The dance begins at about 9 o'clock. For more information, you can call CBST at 212-929-9498. That number again is 212-9498.
And if you have recovered from the dance by Monday, June 14th,
Yes.
you can go to Lesbian Fellowship Group at Marble Collegiate Church, who is co-hosting with the Spiritual Rainbow a reaffirmation ceremony. And the ceremony will be followed and a social.
Great.
The speaker is the Reverend Barbara C. Crafton, rector at Clements Episcopal Church. Begins at 7 o'clock, 5th Avenue and West 29th Street. For more information, you can call 212-686-2770. Number again is 2-686-2770.
And we will have more announcements a little later. But first, we'd like to show you scenes from Dignity's 1999 Good Friday service we had a chance to show you yet. Kathleen Connell was our guest homilist. I'm sure she'll have some interesting things to say.
Begin, though, with some footage of a reflection in front of the church that night on Good Friday that was offered by Annie Maniscalco,
A member of Gay Catholic Hour and a member of our crew.
Christ was targeted by those who hated him because he dared to be different. He dared to speak the truth. He dared to challenge the status quo and preach of love, tolerance, and acceptance for all, regardless of who they are. Christ was the victim of a hate crime. The Book of Hope talks about Jesus as, quote, our supreme example of God in human form. He took the identity of a slave, refusing to cling to his privileges as God. Jesus experienced hunger and endured sorrow. He grew tired and felt the sting of loneliness. He felt the pressure of temptation. For these reasons, we can be assured that God understands what we are going through in life. Our desire to love incites someone else's desire to hate. The first reaction many of us would have to hate, particularly when it results in violent acts, is to plead for justice. And while most would agree that a sense of justice must prevail, is it not perhaps more important to respond in a manner that truly reflects the example Jesus set for us?
That the one whom we call the best human being, the Son of God, was judged in his own time to be the major problem. And the fact that that is the case says something very scary about human history and about human consciousness and our ability, or lack of it, to recognize goodness and truth. That humankind seems to feel the need to attack and kill the very thing which would transform it. And this is not a secondary issue. This is the pattern of human behavior. And this might be, Ross says, why we have this strange God figure of a naked, bleeding man on a cross. God in Jesus. Scripture scholars tell us that the early Gospels were simply passion accounts. So it seems that the cross is all we really need to get. that the cross is the pattern of how transformation occurs, of how people live. It seems to be the of what we would do if left to our own human wisdom. 20 Jesus' disciples are still fighting the message. Look down his homosexuals, women, the list is endless. One of the great tragedies of religion is violence. One of the safest ways, says, to be a hateful, accusing, blaming person is to be religious. Because when you can do it for God, you don't need to feel guilty. You know that too well. It seems to me that the questions that the followers of Jesus, dare we say the church, needs to ask itself today is whether or not we are being transformed into God, or whether we're using God to maintain our ego superiority, our own need to be right, to be in control better than others. Can we identify at all with Paul on his way to Damascus and see that in God's name we too, at least on occasion, have? What we're dealing with here is the quagmire of the contemplative mind versus the calculative mind. Only the contemplative mind can ask that humbling. Or says the logic of the calculative mind can create constant new dualism of right, good, bad, either or. We are stuck in a loop of calculative, both and vision of the contemplative creates anxiety. Those who've been born to and dominated by calculative mind, which sees everything right and wrong. And if there's anything that did Americans well, you do anything anxious, drugs, sugar. And still, the way out of this is through the contemplative mind. Remember, before Jesus showed us formed, he first showed us how to develop the capacity to say yes. He taught us how to pray and modeled for us the need to go off alone and to do it. There is no transformation, there is no carrying of the cross as an integral part of our life. And as we grow in prayer, we grow in our capacity to take a more contemplative view of things. Instead of looking for the right side of either or, the contemplative mind suggests the possibility of a third way of seeing things. The Gospels teach us this third way. Moving
right along with Joe, we have a few more announcements before our last segment. As we mentioned, Dignity New York is an active member of the Spiritual Rainbow, an ecumenical group of gay and lesbian women congregations in New York City.
On Thursday, June 24th, 7 p.m., Integrity, New York, GLBT Episcopalians will be having a Mass for Social Justice at St. Peter's Church on West 20th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues. The Reverend Jack Cronenberger, Bishop Co-Adjutor of the will be celebrating Mass with Reverend Paul Woodrum. For more information, you can contact Integrity at 212-691-7181. Again, that number is 212-691-7181.
It is big word night now, isn't it?
It is. I can't do those Episcopalian words.
Congregation Beth Simchat Torah, the Gay Lesbian Synagogue, will be holding a Pride Shabbat on 5 p.m. at the Ethical Culture Society on Central Park West. The keynote speaker will be New York City Controller Alan Hevesy. Please call 212-929-9498 for more information on this CBST's other Pride events. That number again is 212-929-9498.
And, of course, Dignity New York is celebrating with its own special annual Pride Mass.
Yes.
This year, once again, the Church of St. Mary the Virgin has welcomed us back to their beautiful sanctuary in the heart of the Theater District. The homily this year will be given by former DUA President Marianne Duddy.
She's wonderful.
We've seen Marianne often on the Gay Catholic Hour. Mass will begin at Saturday, June 26th. The St. Mary the Virgin, a.k.a. Smoky Mary, located on West 46th Street between 6th and 7th Avenues. For more information on this great event, you can call the Dignity office at 212-627-6488. We'll put the number on the screen at the end of the show, or you can email us at dignityny@aol.com.
We are so high tech.
We are.
Most of the Spiritual Rainbow members, including Dignity New York, Maranatha, Park Avenue Christian Church, ACC, and St. Clement's, will be celebrating special services on Sunday, June 27th, my birthday,
Yay.
and the day of our Gay Pride Parade. For additional information, you can contact the Dignity office. The number will appear at the end of the program.
Always arrange a parade for your birthday.
Well, you know.
One of the new members of the spiritual Al-Fatiha, a support group for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered Muslims.
Wow.
Recently, our roving reporter, Will Berger, roved his way to an international conference held here in New York by Al-Fatiha over Memorial Day weekend.
We shall.
Hello, this is Will Berger, and I'm here with Faisal Watt.
Alum.
And some very interesting things have been going on this week, and I have pleasure taking part in some of them. I want Faisal to tell you what's going on. First of all, there's an iguana on the stairs, but besides that, some really interesting.
Well, this weekend, Al-Fatiha, which is an international organization for lesbian, bisexual, and transgender Muslims, had their first North American conference. Had a 3-day conference on really exciting this weekend.
Okay, now let me meet Faisal. Al-Fatiha. And this is an organization of what?
It's an international gender Muslim. It's been a queer organization, but 2 of them that we know of at least, and they've worked on various things at the community. So this is the first fully functional incorporated organization that we know of in the world that is doing this work.
In America, that's been doing work in America, or the others have out in America also?
The 2 groups, one started in the 70s in San Francisco, and the other one's in Toronto.
Really?
Yes.
And what happened to the group in the 70s in San Francisco?
The group in the 70s actually was disbanded because members of their group ended up back to their countries and they were actually assassinated, specifically after the Iranian Revolution. So obviously because of security concerns they disbanded, and the group in Toronto went underground also because of similar threats.
Are you facing anything along these lines right now that you know of?
Not now that we know of. A lot of our work has been focused in the queer community, and we're trying to just limit it to that. Obviously, in the Muslim community, issues of sexuality and homosexuality are extreme, and the extremists in our society would like us not to be here, but we're hoping to change that.
Okay. Now, how did you manage to do enough outreach to get this conference together?
We have a listserv actually on the internet that has about 200 people on it from about 20 countries.
Aha, another subversive use of the internet.
Yes, another subversive use of the internet. A lot of our work is done on the internet, so we're there with different cultural, so we've been in touch with the South Gay Association as well as the Gay their own serves. So, I mean, they're great, we've done ways to do this convo.
Okay, now let's pretend I wasn't there. Me, or my people out there, what has gone on at this conference? It was fabulous. Let's pretend we don't know that. And Faisal's listening.
Well, the conference was held, we had a lot of plenaries, obviously focusing on the specific issues and the theological debates of homosexuality within the context of Islam. And we also discussed various issues that affect the queer Muslim community, including coming out to family, finding a partner, HIV/AIDS, immigration, asylum issues, as well as human rights and how they affect your community. 10 different sessions focused on various different topics, so it was really exciting.
So you have quite a few different issues to address here right away.
Exactly. We have multifaceted agenda affecting our community, not just sexuality. Being double minority, especially in this country, they face a lot of the stigmas attached to Islam. And since there's an immigrant population, there's also the immigration asylum issues, and since a lot of Muslim countries still persecute gay Muslims because of their sexual orientation. So we try to encompass all of those ideas in the conference.
Faisal, your group is a member of the Spiritual Rainbow?
Yes, actually, who is a very member of this, Al-Fatiha is on the steering committee for Spiritual Rainbow. So we're excited that we're in the interfaith scene in the local New York City area.
And that would involve what? I mean, that would involve doing concurrent events, or just knowing what everybody else is up to, or do you know?
I'm not too familiar with what Spiritual Rainbow does. I know they have regular meetings to basically, I think, coalition building of various denominations, Christianity, as well as other religions, of to expand their base to other religions as well, like Buddhism, and the pagan community, and Hinduism, I'm sure, also. So you'd have to speak with about that. Maybe in the next, another rainbow, involved with Spiritual Rainbow, yes.
But in your vision of what your group might do and how you might work, what can you see doing with groups, with other queer faith groups?
I definitely that interfaith discussion in the GLBT scene is crucial for our cause. I say that Al-Fateh is a progressive interfaith movement, in that we can learn a lot from each other, especially us from other organizations, including Dignity, who has been part of this conference. In fact, they took out a half in our program, and I was very proud to have that in there.
Anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I just wanted to thank you for on the show. I think that's
Okay.
that's really wonderful. And other than that, I want more information. I guess I don't know if we were allowed to give a phone number.
I can usually work something out. I point about right here on the screen and thing magically appears.
All right. Well, you can contact our New York office, which is 212-752, or you can email us at gaymuslims@yahoo.com. And the Gay Muslims is one word, GAYMUSLIMS @yahoo.com.
Okay, you got that. Be in touch, and are you interested in hearing from people, non-Muslim people also?
Definitely. I mean, we call you Muslims and friends, so the friends covers anything across.
Oh,
definitely. The support is always needed.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So, Dignity New York meets every Sunday evening. It begins at 7:30 and is followed by a social.
We in the village on the corner of Willie and West 11th Street, just west of 7th Avenue. Information, call and we're on the screen.
And
Don't panic.
Listed in the so call.
Next, same time, station.
So, until next time, be proud
And be proud you're gay.
Now the hacienda's dark, the town is sleeping. Now the time has come to part, the time be con Dios, my darling. Vaya con Dios, my love. Now the village mission bells are softly ringing. If you listen with your heart, you'll hear them singing.